You've already found your inner fire. Okay, you know what it feels like to be lit up, to be inspired, and to move with inspiration. The first card we got was love, fire, sensuality, fertility. You guys have mastered your womb and building that ball of light in there and rising that up to your heart space, and then taking action, balancing your masculine and your feminine, because your feminine has to sit, receive light in the womb space, and then push it up through the heart space, open up that heart space and get inspired, and then take action. Okay, and you guys know what that's like. You've been taking a rest. Okay, there's been a little bit of a break here, a rest. The card Despondence came out. It's shadow work, really. It requires being present in the moment, and that's where you've been. Okay, you've been after a time of fiery passion. You were kind of put on rest for a little bit. To clarify, despondence, this is like feeling low or not encouraged. Okay, these are complete opposites, and I feel like you know this is your essence, but maybe you've gone through a time of rest or a time of coming up against walls and being forced to kind of sit down, and you've been feeling rejected in a way by the universe. You know that's not your path. The situation going on right now for this collective is you are receiving, whether you're seeing them or not, the universe is throwing messages at you through symbols, through signs, through music, through TikTok, through whatever you receive your messages through. They're sending you messages, okay? And because you've been a little bit despondent, you've been a little bit overwhelmed, okay? And so you're being told to use discernment with the type of messages you're receiving. I have a feeling in the past this collective already went through a lesson in discernment on what messages you're going to take, because if they're not good, loving, encouraging messages, and they're messages that are coming from the ego, they're going to put you down. They're going to make you feel like you're not good enough. They're going to make you feel like you can't get out of this little bit of rest time or this rut or whatever it is you've been going through. And so you're being told to only listen to the inner wisdom, and you recognize your higher self and your inner wisdom when it's loving. Does it mean that it's like a false positive all the time, right? There's some constructive criticism there too. But you have to know the difference between a loving energy that's guiding you and a darkness that is wired in you from the past that puts you down, okay? Because I feel like that battle that you fought to get into this inner fire that you've had access to, that you still have access to, right? That was fighting something within you, not outside of you. Yes, you fought battles outside of yourself as well. I'm sure you guys had some major dramas in your life. If you're in this collective, you really have. You always knew you could handle the outer. The biggest battle was fighting the negativity within, okay? You're balancing out that light and that dark within you, that shadow, and you guys have come into balance. But this is just a reminder, as you start to receive messages again after being on a break here, remember to listen to the wisdom. Remember the higher self voice, the voice of your soul. And that voice, it's a voice of hope. This is the last card. This is the embodiment, the maven, shining, hope, future. Your voice is someone that can find the light in the darkness. Your voice is abundant in love, unconditional love. And how you talk to others with that unconditional love is how that inner voice is going to talk to you. So if you're hearing or if you're getting guidance from messages that just really make you feel down about yourself, no, that's not the voice to listen to, okay? It's constructive criticism that you listen to, or just love. Sometimes it's the easiest path that you need to take. The Maven, we got the Three of Pentacles and abundance. Your energy, when you are listening to that higher self voice, that inner guidance, that loving, unconditional guidance for yourself, unites people with their own personal abundance. And that abundance is that fire within, because you've walked this journey. So whatever it is you're going through right now, you're being asked to only receive the messages from your higher guidance, to tune out the extra noise. See the cups with the snakes and all that stuff, tune that out for a minute. That doesn't mean you're ignoring it, but right now you need to focus on you, and you need to lead yourself out of whatever that confusion is. Listen to your higher wisdom to get you back on track, because this collective is your purpose, is to shine in your energy, and your energy is one that unites people with abundance of all kinds. It's a beautiful golden energy that you have, and you've unlocked that. and it's accessing it again and again and again. And because you have access to that, you do receive a lot of messages, a lot. Even the ones that you receive that maybe aren't for you, you can take a pause from and say, hey, I gotta focus on me. You can set boundaries with these signs and synchronicities, but you're just being told to focus on the ones that help you access your inner wisdom. You're unlocking something. So the last thing I want to point out is on the bottom of my deck was the Wheel of Fortune, and this was after Maven, but it's really funny because these cards were not mixed up in any way, and now they are. And if you look on this other side, we have the Two of Cups, again, uniting people with their path towards their inner abundance. It happens naturally when you access that inner wisdom because it's a confidence that you've built in yourself to follow that voice within, trust the voice within. If you're in this collective, you get messages all the time about that, about trusting in yourself, okay? This is a path that you've had to walk alone, and that's because you haven't been alone energetically, but physically, if you're in this collective, most likely you have been on your own, being guided by your own North Star, which is coming from you, and it's incredible. There's something that's happening in your life where you're gonna be needing to remember this. There's the decision that you're going to be making soon, and this is coming up with a lot of collectives. There's some choices that are going to be made by a bunch of collectives here that are going to drive them into this future pathway that they're going to be on, that you're going to be on. You're in a collective where you have a decision, the Two of Swords, coming up, where you have to use your mind and your heart, and they want you to listen to your inner wisdom when making this decision. All right, one last card. The last message here, Ace of Coins. This is a new beginning, and it has the potential for a lot of abundance, okay? There's pentacles out on this table here. So I don't know if this is gonna help you other than just to remind you that what you're experiencing is for you, and that you can trust in yourself to make decisions for yourself to be abundant, and that you really do have this vibrant, beautiful energy, and there's a purpose to all the inner work you've done. Don't you forget that. You're getting all these messages to tune out the yucky stuff right now because your wisdom is coming through. Your wisdom's coming through with unconditional love for you.